What if writing a single number on a blank page could flip your entire life upside down? Most people would laugh, shaking their heads, convinced it's impossible. Millions dream about abundance, but almost no one believes a journal could hold the key. Yet for one young woman, what started with a pen and a piece of paper turned into something so shocking she could barely breathe when it finally happened. Her name was Sophia. 27 years old, her life was buried under piles of unpaid bills and silent nights filled with worry. She'd sit at her kitchen table, staring at envelopes marked "Final Notice," whispering to herself, "How did I end up here?" Dreams she once held, starting her own business, traveling, even just feeling free, were shelved away, covered in dust. And maybe as you hear this, you feel that same sting, staring at numbers that don't add up, wondering if life has locked you out of abundance too. But then, in the middle of her frustration, something caught her off guard. A chance encounter with an idea so unusual it made her heart race. She found herself holding an old notebook, the kind you'd almost throw away without a thought. Only this time, it wasn't just paper, it felt like a door. With trembling hands, she pressed her pen to the page and wrote down one number. A number so bold, it terrified her. A number that just days later would leap from her journal into her reality in a way she never saw coming. It all started on a night Sophia would never forget. The kitchen light flickered above her as she sat at the table, bills scattered like fallen leaves around her. Her chest tightened every time she looked at the red letters stamped across the envelopes. She whispered, "How did I end up here?" The silence in the room was heavy, broken only by the hum of the fridge, reminding her of how empty her life felt. Most people dream of abundance, but for Sophia, dreaming had become dangerous. She had buried her hopes deep inside, convinced that nothing would ever change. Every day felt like running on a treadmill, moving, sweating, exhausted, but getting nowhere. Maybe you've felt that way too, trapped between what you owe and what you wish for, staring at numbers that refuse to add up. And then, out of nowhere, came the spark. Scrolling through her phone, her eyes caught a simple video. The voice said, "Your journal can open doors you can't yet see." She almost laughed. How could a notebook fix a life falling apart? But something inside her stirred, something that wouldn't let her swipe away. That night, she pulled out an old notebook, lit a candle, and with trembling hands wrote down one bold number. She closed the book, not realizing she had just planted a seed that would explode into her reality only days later. And that's the story you're about to hear. A story so unusual, so filled with hidden lessons and surprising turns, that you'll want to stay until the very end, because the way it all unfolds will leave you speechless. Before we dive in, make sure you hit subscribe so you don't miss stories like this that can shift the way you see your own life. And drop a comment below telling me your country and city. I'd love to know where in the world this story is reaching hearts tonight. Sophia carried the weight of scarcity like a backpack filled with invisible stones. "Why does it always feel like I'm running but never arriving?" she would whisper to herself, staring at unpaid bills piled on the table. Every envelope felt heavier than the last, pulling her deeper into exhaustion. Even joy seemed too expensive. "I can't even laugh without worrying about what tomorrow will cost me," she admitted, her voice trembling with quiet despair. At night, her thoughts wouldn't stop spinning. What if I can't make it this month? What if everything falls apart? She tossed in bed, her heart racing, as if scarcity itself was chasing her. The idea of money manifestation sounded like something from a fantasy novel, never meant for her. Still, beneath the worry, a tiny spark whispered, "Maybe there's another way." It wasn't only about survival, it was about her dignity, her freedom to breathe without fear. "I just want to feel normal again, not like I'm always drowning," she confessed to her reflection in the mirror. The exhaustion etched on her face told the story of someone trapped in a cycle of lack, yet unaware she was standing at the edge of a transformation journey. Sophia couldn't see it then, but life was nudging her towards something extraordinary. "There has to be more than this," she murmured, clinging to that seed of hope. A law of attraction story was about to take shape, but the secret revealed itself in the most unexpected way. One rainy afternoon, while scrolling through her social media feed, Sophia stopped on a short video that caught her attention. The voice on the screen said, "Your journal can be the key to manifesting money." Sophia frowned. "Wait, what? A notebook? Seriously?" she whispered, half skeptical, half curious. Still, something about the way it was said made her heart skip a beat, like it was a secret revealed just for her. She went digging through her closet and found an old spiral notebook from years ago. The cover was scratched, the pages half empty. Could this simple thing really open invisible doors? She asked herself, holding it in both hands. The idea felt crazy, but deep down, she thought, what if this is my seed of hope? For the first time in weeks, she felt a spark of excitement instead of stress. The video explained it clearly. Write a number, write it with faith, and believe it's already yours. Sophia sat on the couch, pen in hand, her heart racing. "All right," she muttered, "if this is a law of attraction story in the making, I'm all in." She didn't write $100. She didn't write $500. She went bold. Her shaky hand wrote it out. $10,000. "If this works, it could change my life," she whispered. The rain tapped harder on the window as she stared at the number on the page. It looked almost alive, like it was glowing back at her. "Am I out of my mind, or did I just start something big?" she thought, her pulse quickening. Little did she know, that small act, this simple journal manifestation, was the start of a powerful shift that would lead her into a manifestation journey she could never forget. That night, the house was quiet, almost too quiet. Sophia lit a small candle on the kitchen table, the flame flickering like her fragile hope. She opened the notebook, heart pounding, and whispered, "All right, it's just you and me now." Her pen hovered over the page as if the words carried more weight than ink could hold. It wasn't just a number, it felt like a life-changing decision waiting to be made. She finally pressed the pen down and wrote, $10,000. Her hand trembled, but her spirit rose. "This isn't just about money, this is about freedom," she told herself, the words echoing in the stillness of the room. Each stroke of the pen was like planting a seed of hope into the fertile soil of her mind. It was a personal growth moment, raw and real. As the candle burned lower, she leaned back and stared at the page. "I can almost see it already, like it's mine," she whispered. The number seemed alive, glowing with possibility. In that moment, she wasn't just journaling, she was stepping into a visualization story, a manifestation success waiting to unfold. The law of attraction didn't feel like theory anymore, it felt personal. She closed the notebook gently, like sealing a secret promise. "This is my transformation journey," she said, her voice soft but steady. She didn't know how or when, but she felt something shift inside her, a powerful shift that couldn't be explained. And though she tried to sleep, her mind kept racing with one thought: what if this actually works? The very next morning, something unusual happened. Sophia woke up before her alarm. She sat up, her heart strangely calm, and whispered, today feels different. Instead of dragging herself to the kitchen, she walked with purpose, brewing coffee while humming a tune she hadn't sung in years. The sunlight hit the counter, and for a split second, she felt like the world was conspiring for her, not against her. "Why do I feel so alive?" she thought, her pulse racing with a mix of wonder and disbelief. At the grocery store later that day, the old Sophia would have sighed at the price of milk, but not this time. She whispered under her breath, "I'm manifesting abundance, not counting pennies." The strangest thing happened. The cashier randomly handed her a discount coupon. She froze, chills running down her arms. Is this a sign?" she thought, her eyes darting as if the universe had just winked at her in plain sight. Back at work, her boss mentioned a new opportunity, and for once she didn't shrink back. "I'll take it," she said firmly, surprising even herself. Her coworkers glanced at her, sensing something different, almost magnetic about her. "The mind is a magnet. It's really pulling things in," she whispered to herself in the bathroom mirror, gripping the sink as if steadying her excitement. Her reflection looked bolder, almost like a new person was staring back. That night, walking through her neighborhood, Sophia clutched her journal close to her chest. The wind brushed her face, carrying a quiet message she couldn't quite decode. The birds seemed louder, the sky brighter, even though it was the same street she'd walked 100 times before. "What's happening to me?" she whispered, and yet somewhere deep inside, a thrilling suspicion grew. These small shifts were only the beginning. Something far bigger was waiting, so close she could almost touch it. The very next day, Sophia's phone buzzed with an unexpected message. A friend she hadn't spoken to in months asked if she wanted to take on a small freelance project. "That's weird timing," she whispered, staring at the screen. She accepted, her heart racing, and when the payment arrived, it felt more than money. It felt like confirmation. "Okay, universe," she said, half smiling. "I see what you're doing." 2 days later, she walked into her favorite cafe, planning to just window shop the pastries. But the barista waved her over with a grin. "Hey, we've got an extra latte on the house." Sophia froze, her hands trembling as she picked up the cup. Seriously? Out of nowhere? She thought. It was such a small gesture, but it felt like another breadcrumb on her manifestation journey, another hint that the law of attraction story was unfolding in real time. And by the 4th day, things grew stranger. She found a $20 bill crumpled on the sidewalk right where she usually parked her car. She bent down, holding it like a clue from a treasure map. "This isn't random. It can't be," she whispered, chills running down her spine. Each moment felt like a secret revealed, small signals whispering, "Stay ready, something bigger is coming." And then came the 5th day. The phone rang. Sophia's breath caught in her throat as she saw the name flash across the screen. Her hand shook as she answered, not knowing that the words on the other side would change everything. The number she once dared to write was about to come alive. Don't miss what happens next. Hit that like button if your heart is racing too. The phone pressed against her ear. Sophia could barely whisper, "Hello?" On the other end, a voice she hadn't heard in months broke through the static. "Sophia, we've got good news. That old project you worked on, it's finally approved and payment is on its way." She gripped the table, her knees weak. "Wait, how much?" she asked, her voice cracking. The reply came clear as daylight. $10,000. Her world stopped. The walls of her tiny kitchen blurred, her breath came in gasps. 10,000, she repeated, tears spilling down her cheeks. She looked at her journal on the counter, the very page where she had written that number in trembling ink just days before. It felt like the words had leaped off the paper and into her reality. This can't be real. But it is. she whispered, sobbing into her hands. Her body shook as she paced the room, phone still in hand. Every corner of her home looked different, brighter, alive with possibility. "I wrote it, and now it's here," she said out loud, her voice breaking into laughter and tears at once. It wasn't just a payment, it was a manifestation success that proved her visualization story had power beyond logic. It was her once-upon-a-time moment unfolding in real life. She clutched the journal tight against her chest, rocking back and forth. The flame of the candle she'd lit nights ago flickered nearby, as if winking in agreement. "The impossible actually happened," she whispered, her heart pounding with gratitude and disbelief. But little did Sophia know the true hidden lesson of this miracle wasn't about the money itself, but something far more profound that was waiting just ahead. For hours after the call, Sophia sat in silence, staring at the number on the page that had now come alive. The journal lay open before her, no longer just paper and ink. It was a mirror of her belief, her courage to ask. It wasn't magic, she whispered to herself, brushing away tears. It was me aligning with something bigger. The $10,000 manifestation was real, but the true abundance came from the powerful shift inside her. She thought back to the night she lit that candle, how nervous her hand had been as she wrote the number. That shaky scribble had been more than a goal. It was a declaration of faith, a seed of hope planted in the soil of her heart. "I changed first," she admitted, her voice soft, "and then the world changed around me." It was a hidden lesson she would carry forever. The practice didn't just bring money, it brought clarity, focus, and personal growth. Walking through her apartment, she noticed the little things, the sound of her laughter, lighter than it had been in years. The way her shoulders no longer carried invisible stones. When your mind aligns with abundance, reality has no choice but to respond, she whispered, almost as if teaching herself the lesson out loud. The walls didn't feel like a prison anymore. They felt like the beginning of a transformation journey. Yet even as gratitude filled her chest, Sophia couldn't shake a thought that pulsed stronger with each passing moment. If one page in her journal had opened this door, what other doors could she unlock? What if this journal practice wasn't just a single miracle, but a map, a guide to a future she hadn't dared to imagine yet? Her hand trembled as she reached for the pen again, knowing the story was far from over. Before journaling, Sophia's days felt like survival mode. She'd wake up with a knot in her stomach, dragging herself through routines that drained her soul. Every mirror showed a tired face, and every thought revolved around bills, debts, and fears. "I'm stuck. I'll never get out of this," she used to whisper, her voice breaking. Even her relationships carried the weight of her scarcity mindset. She pulled away from friends, avoided family calls, and built walls around her heart. But after that $10,000 manifestation, everything shifted. The same woman who once carried invisible stones now walked lighter, as if the burden had been lifted. She started journaling daily, not just about money manifestation, but about confidence, love, and healing. "This isn't just a notebook anymore," she smiled, flipping through the pages. "It's my treasure map." Each word became a step toward true abundance, each sentence a powerful shift shaping her reality. Her friends noticed the difference first. She laughed more, spoke with certainty, and looked people in the eye again. "You're glowing, Sophia," one of them said, shocked at her transformation journey. At work, opportunities multiplied, and she finally had the courage to ask for things she once thought impossible. Her journal practice wasn't just manifesting money, it was manifesting self-worth, love, and a brand new future. Looking back, the contrast was almost unbelievable. The woman who once whispered, "I'll never make it," was now living a motivational story others would retell. Sophia realized the hidden lesson wasn't about luck, it was about alignment, focus, and faith in action. And as she closed her notebook one evening, she smiled with a quiet certainty. "Once upon a time, I thought I was broken, but I was only waiting for the right key to unlock the life I deserved." Sophia's story proves something most people overlook. Abundance doesn't begin in your bank account. It begins in your mind. That single act of faith, writing $10,000 in her journal, wasn't just about money. It was about daring to believe in possibilities when everything around her screamed impossible. The hidden lesson is clear. When your thoughts align with hope, your actions align with courage, and your reality has no choice but to shift. So I ask you, what would you dare to write if you believed it could come alive? What dreams have you locked away because fear told you they were too big? And what if the very thing you've been waiting for has been waiting on you to take the first step, just like Sophia did? Don't let this just be her motivational story. Make it your own. Grab a notebook, plant your seed of hope, and begin your manifestation journey today. Because the truth is, you have more power than you realize, and the next life-changing decision could be just one page away. If this story inspired you, subscribe to the channel so you never miss the next powerful shift that could open your eyes to true abundance. And before you go, type this short declaration in the comments. I'm ready to manifest true abundance. Your words won't just affirm your own journey, they might ignite faith in someone else who needs this story today.